39 times, a bell ringing in Atlanta set off a chorus of bells around the world in memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Last month, King's children gathered at their father's tomb in Atlanta and rang the bell 39 times, representing the years he lived. 50 years ago, on April 4th, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered. The civil rights leader was shot and killed at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis. A half century after his death, what have we learned? What have we accomplished? And boy, is there a lot left to be done. And with that, I'd like to welcome Minister Ron Williams, who is part of a special group. It's called the 50th Year Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commemorative Tributes. That's a big name, but the group has a really big purpose, isn't that right?
Of course, yes ma'am.
This year is so significant because it's a half century since Dr. King was killed.
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you think? I mean, it sounds like a question that's just so cliche to ask, but what do you think he would feel in the 50 years since his death about what we've learned as a society?
Well, I think just knowing that over the past 50 years we have grown. I mean, people had came together. That was one of his tasks, but I think he would still be disappointed, especially with a lot of our youth, a lot of people of color, in the sense of, although, you know, they put their lives on the line, but yet it's like we lost something. We don't see we're not taking advantage of what he went out there and died for. Yes, we can vote. Yes, we got higher education, but yet still we kind of like stuck. And I think from that perspective, he would still be a little disappointed.
I think one of the things that I feel sometimes when you talk about we're stuck and when you talk about the younger generations, I feel like we're not learning from history. We're not learning from past mistakes. And does that mean we're doomed to repeat them? And that's what worries me.
Well, in all actuality, I just think, you know, the 60s was one of the greatest decades for people of color. But then after Dr. King passed and a lot of the other powerful leaders, the 70s came, and then when the crack kind of hit the streets in the 80s, it really set us back. A lot of our youth, and this is why I started this organization, a lot of our youth don't have an understanding of the history. They think Dr. Martin Luther King perhaps died 500 years ago versus 50 years ago. Yeah, so they don't have a real understanding. So this is the reason why we came together to empower the community, to empower our youth, to educate them.
You've done a lot with that. You've done a lot with your foundation to help educate and expose inner city children to significant places in the South, significant in terms of civil rights. And you were telling me earlier that Birmingham has been, you know, such an important city for them to visit.
Oh yes, of course. Me and my partner, Dr. George W. Stewart, out of Birmingham, we came together back in 2005 and we started taking inner city kids throughout the South. That's where we started, Augusta and Birmingham, you know, the Georgia area. And we were going to take them to Charleston. We were going to take them to Atlanta. We were going to take them to Birmingham, Memphis. But once we got to Birmingham with so much history, we just got stuck there. So for about 10, 11 years, we would bus these kids to Birmingham. We start off with a handful of kids, but it ended up being 23 states and 5 countries that would participate.
Wow.
Yes, and we'll bring people in like Reverend Laurie and you know, our time in John Lewis, Representative John Lewis, and we would empower these kids, let them know that they too can go out and be a U.S. congressman.
And when you're talking about John Lewis and when you're talking about Andrew Young, these are people who worked with Dr. King.
Of course.
And they're still alive. These kids can meet them and get some kind of understanding that, you know, this is in my realm.
Yes, ma'am, you're exactly right, Ms. Jenny. So, for example, what I'm doing, we already did this in Myrtle Beach, Charleston, and Savannah. So on the 15th of June, the kids in those 3 cities, we busted them to Atlanta, and we're going to go to the church that Dr. King started at, and with his father, and we're going to have a panel of some of these Andrew Young and, you know, perhaps Bernice, you know, some of these same people, so that they can meet these people, they can ask questions, get, you know, educated, and then we're going to leave Atlanta on the 15th. That afternoon we go ahead to Birmingham. So the morning of the 16th, they'll go to 16th Street Baptist Church, Kelly Ingram Park and, the Civil Rights Institute. And then that night we will leave and bus them down to Memphis. They will attend service at the church that Dr. King made his last service.
Fantastic. Well, another thing that's happening in June that we don't want to neglect to mention, of course, is the tribute that's going to take place here on Saturday, June the 2nd. At Laney High School. Can you tell us just a little bit about what that tribute is going to be? And it's also going to honor some legacies right here in Augusta.
Yes, ma'am. So what we're doing, and especially I'm looking forward to Augusta because I live here. I'm retired from the military here. So we're going to honor 110, and Augusta I think is 120 of the most influential, the most powerful blacks over the past 50 years. We're saying we're going to honor the Martin Luther Kings of the community, and we got like different categories like entertainment. James Brown, of course, everybody heard of JB, so that award will be in his name, but people like Jesse Norman will receive that award. So 10 people in that, so ministry, SMA McIntyre, the award will be in her name, but 10 pastors will also receive that award. So we're going military and law enforcement, Robert Gray, General Gray, which I served under him. The award will be in his name, but people like Alfonso Williams, people like our president, Sheriff, will also receive that award. So we got 10 different categories. We're going to honor over 120 people. This is going to take place on the 2nd of June at Lucy Laney High. I'm bringing in a Hollywood producer who's going to shoot it. Matter of fact, we'll do the honors, the honorees, the people that we are honoring. We'll start at 3 o'clock with them, a red carpet event, black tie, and then the public will be able to attend at 5 o'clock.
Well, we are going to have all of this information on our website. I encourage you to go to WJBF.com, click the Jennie link, and read about this 50th anniversary tribute, the commemorative celebration for Dr. King, and how you can take part in Augusta's celebration on June 2nd. Minister Ron Williams, thank you so much for your time today, and good luck with the event.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Certainly.
Yes, it's an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
We'll be right back.